Hey guys, what's up? It's Haley and today I'm going to be doing a video all about my tattoos and piercings. I apologize if my lighting is really up and down right now. I'm filming at a terrible time during the day, like always, but just bear with me. Also, ignore my unmade bed. I'm going to start with my piercings and work backwards to the most current piercings that I have, and then after that my tattoo. So the first piercings I ever got were obviously my lobe piercings. And I got my lobes pierced, I think, twice. The first time I got my lobes pierced, I think I was 10, and I had been messing around with my dad and not paying attention, and I ripped out the earrings that I had in my ear. And when I went to put them back in, it started bleeding, and I assumed that that meant it was infected. So I took them out and let them grow back over until I think I was about 11 years old, and then I got them pierced again. I was really young, so I don't really remember the pain level that was. I'd probably say, though, in comparison to all my other piercings, I would say maybe a 2. It is such a quick process that the pain really is nothing. It'll sting for a few minutes, but that's about it. It really isn't that big of a deal, so I'd rate it about a 2 out of 10. The next piercing I got was actually my belly button piercing, and I know that's kind of crazy. That's like one extreme to the next. I just didn't bother with my earlobes for a while, and I knew I really wanted a belly button piercing, and I convinced my parents to let me get one for my 16th birthday. It was like an early birthday present though, so I was actually 15 when I got my belly button pierced. Now, for my belly button piercing, I was honestly really surprised at the pain. My mom had gotten her belly button pierced when she was younger, and she had warned me ahead of time that it was going to be pretty painful because it's going through a very thick amount of skin. So I was prepared for the pain. I knew I really wanted it and the pain was worth it. So I went into the piercing shop and the lady counted down from 3 before she pierced it. I don't know what it was, but I didn't feel it at all. I felt absolutely nothing. I was so shocked. She had counted down and I guess my adrenaline was rushing so much. I was so excited to finally get my belly button pierced that I honestly didn't even feel the needle go through. And I'm so sorry if that's not very helpful for you guys, but honestly, it was not painful at all for me. And I'd say that I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but that high pain tolerance has built up over the years. So at that point, I had only gotten my lobes pierced and I wasn't really experienced with pain. I was expecting for this to hurt a lot. And hearing other people's experiences, I expected it to hurt a lot. This, I would honestly rate, I'm gonna say a 3 out of 10. It was nothing for me. My best advice for you guys, those who have lower pain tolerances or aren't really sure if they want to get a piercing because of pain, just go for it. The pain literally lasts only a few seconds, maybe a few minutes, and then it's over with. I promise you it's worth it. My belly button has to be one of my favorite piercings, so I am so glad I got it, and yeah. The next 4 piercings I got all in one sitting. It was my second holes and my 2 cartilage piercings. All 4 of those piercings I got, I think, when I was 16 years old. Before I had gotten all 4 of these piercings, I had already gotten my cartilage pierced one time, and it was on this side of my ear, but once again, I was at a hairdresser and they ripped it out whenever they were doing my hair and I forgot to put it back in. It closed up, and then I had to wait until I actually went and got another one. I got all of these done at Claire's, my first hole, second holes, and 2 cartilage piercings. I got them all done at Claire's with a gun. I know that it is highly, highly suggested not to do any piercings with a gun, but especially like your cartilage piercing, because apparently it has caused shattering of the cartilage before in the past, but I haven't had any issues with that whatsoever. The healing might be a little bit longer with a gun, but I honestly wouldn't really have anything to compare it with because I always use the gun. I think it's just quicker. I don't have the patience to wait around and go to a actual tattoo piercing parlor. So I always end up resulting in going to Claire's, which I'm not gonna suggest. I will say though that the cartilage piercings do take a while to heal, and that might be because I got it with a gun. So your best bet would honestly be with a needle But yeah, I just want to let you know I got all those with a piercing gun and I really had no issues with it. I'd say my second holes were probably, once again, a 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Just a little sting, then I got it over with, no big deal. My cartilage, I'd say it wasn't too much more painful than your lobes, but you definitely feel it a little bit more because it's going through tougher skin up here. So I'd say that's probably a 4 out of 10. Once again, no big deal, nothing to shy away from. It honestly isn't that big of a pain. I guess it's all just depending on how you handle pain, and yeah, it wasn't a big deal. I got it all in one sitting like I said, so I do, however, remember my second cartilage hole being the most painful. The lady had done my top one first, and then she did this second one on the bottom right after, and I did definitely feel the second one more. And I don't know if it was just because that area was already sore from her piercing the first, or if it's just a sensitive area. I don't really know, but once again, nothing too crazy, but I definitely did feel it a little bit more than the first. The next piercing I got was actually when I turned 18. It was the day after I turned 18. I was just feeling rebellious and I decided to go get a piercing on my own, and that was my industrial piercing. And honestly, this piercing has been such a pain in the ass. Oh my gosh, this piercing is honestly one of the hardest to heal. When you hear people talk about how it's one of the most painful piercings, please just believe them, because it is honestly such a pain in the ass to try to clean, to try to sleep on, to try to heal. It is not fun. But I definitely don't regret it because it is one of my favorite piercings. Out of all my piercings, I am gonna say, and be completely honest with you guys, this one hurt the most. I definitely was expecting it to hurt. This has to go through 2 parts of your cartilage in order to put the bar through, and that was extremely painful. It was like a slow process. Mine got infected right after. It was honestly miserable. When it gets infected, it is miserable. It's not fun to deal with. So I highly, highly recommend that you know that the place you're going to is sanitary, that they clean all of their equipment, they know what they're doing, they pierce it the correct way, you make sure to clean it. I really recommend you do that because you don't want your industrial to get infected or you're going to absolutely hate life. It's in the process of healing now. I got it, like I said, when I was 18, which was only like a month ago, less than a month ago, not too long ago. So it's still fairly new. It is still in the process of healing. It's going to be in the process of healing for the next couple of months. Like I said, yeah, this one was pretty painful, especially towards the inner part of my ear. It's kind of sensitive, so I definitely felt that. But it was worth it. I would rate this probably a 7 out of 10. Once again, I have a high pain tolerance, but I definitely felt this one. It wasn't enough for me not to want to ever do it again. It wasn't enough for me to cry or anything like that. I definitely felt it, so I'd give it a 7 out of 10. But I'm in no way discouraging you not to get it because this is one of my favorite piercings that I have, and I don't regret it one bit. Lastly, the last piercings that I have as of right now are my third holes. I definitely don't recommend you piercing your own ears whatsoever, but I pierced my third holes, and yeah. I pierced my third holes myself with one of those guns, the little plastic guns that you can just buy at Sally's Beauty. I wouldn't recommend at all, but I did it, and I had a friend help me. It honestly was not painful at all. I was really expecting it to be painful considering I'm doing it myself or I'm having somebody else doing it. I was really preparing myself for it to be a lot more painful than it was. No, I mean, it's honestly just like the first 2 holes. I'd rate it probably a 2 or 3 out of 10. It was no big deal, and it's doing fine. Once again, I do not recommend that whatsoever. Go to a professional, or at least Claire's. Like, I wouldn't call them professional, but at least Claire's. So yeah, that's about it for my piercings. I have a total of 11, And now we're getting into my tattoo, which I only have one tattoo as of right now. I got it for my 18th birthday, so about 2 months ago I got this tattoo and I love it. It took me a really long time to decide on what I wanted for my first tattoo because I really wanted it to be something that I would love and something that I would never regret having on my body for the rest of my life, and something that also had meaning to it. I ended up getting a compass rose. Basically, the whole idea behind this is that a compass signifies being able to find your way. The reason I got a rose in the middle of it is because I love roses. Roses are probably my favorite flower. I have doodled them on my notebooks ever since I was little. I'm just in love with roses. I think they're beautiful. They signify beauty, and the fact that a compass is also called a compass rose, I thought that that was kind of unique to have in my tattoo. I just thought that it was a simple yet very significant idea to have as my first tattoo, and I am really happy with it, honestly. I was really expecting this to hurt because it's a needle basically puncturing your skin multiple times in a row. So I was definitely expecting this to hurt, especially because I have shading in it and because of the placement of it. It is on my spine. It's extremely hard to explain. You would only understand if you felt it for yourself, but just take my word on it. It is honestly not the kind of pain that you would expect for it to be. It is more of just a constant annoying feeling up against your skin. If you want a tattoo, do not let the idea of the pain get in the way of you getting a tattoo. This is something that I'm going to have on my body for the rest of my life, and it literally only took me sitting there for about an hour. It was absolutely hands down worth it, and I would do it again and again and again if I had to. I would honestly rate that a 5 out of 10, not even because pain-wise, just because it's just an awkward feeling that you're not used to having on your body, but I'd say 5 out of 10. Maybe it hurts in other places a little bit more. Like, I do know that the ribs are definitely one of the more sensitive places on your body, and like the top of your foot, that those things really could hurt because it's more bony. But once again, as soon as you feel it for the first time and you get through the first 2 minutes of it, you get used to the feeling of it, and it's honestly worth every second of it. That's about it for my tattoos and piercings, you guys. If I end up getting any more in the future, I will definitely update you if you guys would like to see that. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments below and I will be happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!